Welcome to the lecture Nucleophilic Substitution Reactions Part 5. In this part we will learn about Hammond postulate and nucleophilic substitution reactions. We know that Hammond postulate, and if we consider the SN1 reaction, the Hammond postulate relates reaction rate to stability. It provides a quantitative estimate of the energy of a transition state. The Hammond postulate states that the transition state of a reaction resembles the structure of the species, reactant or product to which it is closer in energy. Let us see. In this diagram you can see, in case of endothermic reactions, the transition state is closer to the energy of the products. In exothermic reactions, the transition state is closer to the energy, closer in energy to the reactants. So, in case of endothermic reaction, the transition state resembles the products more than that the reactants. So anything that stabilizes the product stabilizes the transition state also, thus lowering the energy of the transition state, decreases activation energy, which increases the reaction rate. If there are two possible products in an endothermic reaction, but one is more stable than the other, the transition state that leads to the formation of the more stable product is lower in energy. So this reaction should occur faster. Diagrammatically we can see there are two possibilities. The lower the energy of the transition state leads to the lower energy product. You can see this activation energy is lower, so it will give the faster reaction. Now, in the case of an exothermic reaction, the transition state resembles the reactants more than the products. Thus, lowering the energy of the products has little or no effect on the energy of the transition state. Since A is unaffected, the reaction rate is unaffected. The conclusion is that in an exothermic reaction, the more stable product may or may not form faster, since A is similar for both products. Diagrammatically you can see, for exothermic reaction, if the transition state is similar for both pathways, so decreasing the energy of the product has little effect on the energy of the transition state. Now, the Hammond postulate estimates the relative energy of transition state, and thus it can be used to predict the relative rates of two reactions. According to the Hammond postulate, the stability of the carbocation determines the rate of its formation. You can see, in case of CH3 plus, methyl carbocation, it is a less stable carbocation. For that reason, the activation energy is much high than the activation energy for tertiary butyl carbocation, because it is more stable one. So for SN1 reaction with methyl carbocation, the reaction rate is much slower than the in case of tertiary butyl carbocation. Now, substrate in predicting SN1 versus SN2 mechanism. 4 factors are relevant. Mind that 4 factors are relevant in predicting whether a given reaction is likely to proceed by an SN1 or an SN2 mechanism. We will discuss them in details. Now, the first factor and the most important factor is that the structure of the alkyl halide. Increasing the alkyl substitution favors SN1. You can see. So 3 degree carbocation will give most in cases the SN1 reaction, and decreasing alkyl substituents favor SN2. So methyl is preferably give SN2 reactions. So methyl and 1 degree halides undergo SN2 reactions only. 3 degree alkyl halides undergo SN1 reactions only, and for 2 degree alkyl halides it undergo both SN1 and SN2 reactions. Other factors determine the mechanism also. Now the second factor is the nature of the nucleophile, which also determine the mechanism of the reaction. So strong nucleophiles, which usually bears a negative charge, present in high concentrations, favor SN2 reactions, and weak nucleophiles such as water and alcohol favors SN1 reactions by decreasing the rate of any competing SN2 reactions. Now let us compare the substitution products formed when 2 degree alkyl halide A, that is cis-1-bromo-4-methyl cyclohexane, is treated with either the strong nucleophile OH- or with the weak nucleophile water. Because it is a 2 degree alkyl halide, it can react by either mechanism. The strength of the nucleophile determines which mechanism takes place. Now if we treat this compound with strong nucleophile OH-, it will give a SN2 product with inversion of configuration of this center. And if a weak nucleophile water is treated with this compound, as you have seen, in first step Br- will remove, forming this carbocation. It is a planar one. Now water can attack this carbocation from either side, from lower side or from upper side, forming cis and trans isomer. So in this case, and we will get a racemized product. Now but you can see clearly the mechanism. Okay. Now the third point is leaving group in predicting the SN1 versus SN2 mechanism. The leaving group is the third factor. A better leaving group increases the rate of both SN1 and SN2 reactions. Look at the transition state for the SN2 mechanism, and this is the transition state, that is the rate determining state for the SN1 mechanism, in which the CX bond is broken. So a better leaving group is more able to accept the negative charge. So increasing leaving group ability increasing the rate of SN1 or SN2 reactions. Now we know that OH- is the worst leaving group. So in case of alcohols, we can transform the worst leaving group into a good leaving group by treating that alcohol with para-toluene sulfonyl chloride or para-bromobenzene sulfonyl chloride and transform them into esters, that is para-toluene sulfonate in small, as usual we can write it OTS, but tosylate ester, or in this case para-bromobenzene sulfonyl chloride we can transform into ester. It is called OBS or brosylate. Let us see a reaction sequence. This is S-phenyl 2-propanol. It's an alcohol, so it's never undergo SN1 or SN2 substitution reactions. We can treat it with para-toluene sulfonyl chloride TSCl and transforming it into its tosylate ester. You can see there is no change in configuration. It is S and it is also S. Now we can treat it with ethoxide anion. So let us see whether it's a retention of configuration or inversion of configuration, so that we can identify whether it is a SN1 or SN2 pathway. Here we can see, if we treat the ester with ethoxide anion, it will attack from backside, leaving the group tosylate ester anion, tosylate acid anion, and here is inversion of configuration. So it's a SN2 reaction mechanism. Now the fourth factor is solvent in predicting SN1 versus SN2 mechanism. The nature of the solvent is a fourth factor. Polar protic solvents like water and alcohol favors SN1 reactions because the ionic intermediate, both cations and anions, are stabilized by solvation. Polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 reactions because nucleophiles are not well solvated and therefore are more nucleophilic. What is solvolysis reaction? Where solvent itself is the nucleophile. If we consider this substrate and treat it with methanol, it is also a polar protic solvent. First of all, CBr bond is broken and we will get a planar carbocation which is stabilized by the solvent itself. Now solvent can attack from front side and also from back side. It's a first reaction and we will get this carbocationic product, and after removal of proton we will get this type of compounds with racemization, that is from S to S and R, 50-50%. This is called solvolysis reaction. Thank you for watching.